Jimmy Allen, we're going to talk a little bit about kind of his beginnings. So let's get that kicked off. Here we go. Paris Pipkin here with On the Rocks Top 10 Countdown on My Rock 96.5. Got a special guest today, Jimmy Allen. What's up, Jimmy?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Not a whole lot, brother. It's really good to hear from you, man, because, I'm a guitar player, and I've been following your career for some time. And so it's almost weird to interview you because, as a radio DJ, these things come pretty easy. But whenever you're talking to somebody who's somewhat influenced some of your own guitar playing, you kind of get like fanboy. I'm fanboying right now a little bit.
Oh, man, that's awesome to hear, man.
For those of y'all out there listening, Jimmy Allen is a founding member of Puddle of Mudd, as well as the bands Against All Will and currently Cooker, right?
Yeah, got some new stuff cooking with Cooker.
Very cool. So before we talk a little bit about what you got going on currently, let's talk a little bit about where you came from.
Cool.
You are known for probably writing some of the best songs that Puddle of Mudd has to offer. And there are songs that you hear on the radio every day still. I heard one on the way up to the studio this morning, and I was like, this is going to be really cool. So it kind of hyped me up a little bit more for this interview. So
Killer, and yeah, I heard it the other day when I was in my truck, and of course, every time you hear some of your songs that are you're blessed like that to have those on the radio, like I crank them up. I like, no matter who's in the car, it could be my cat, I don't know, I'm like, but I'll just crank it because I hear it on the radio, and it's such a blessing to have that, out there like that,
Absolutely. And that's one thing too, man. If you ever get back down this area, you're gonna have to sit down with me and show me that little harmonic part you do on Blurry.
Stiller, yeah. No, we can sit down and jam. I just love playing guitar. It's like I learn from all kinds of, it's like you'd be surprised how much you can learn and forget on guitar. Isn't it crazy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With my band, if we don't rehearse for like 2 or 3 months and then we get back together and it's like, I can't even remember how to play my own music. So,
yeah,
you
man,
really do.
Right
If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Sometimes it's like, it'll be like I'll be playing something, that is mine, and then like the producer or one of my friends that are in the room with me will be like, I thought it was this way, and I think you're right. It was that way.
Yeah, I experienced that. I've been pretty fortunate. My band's been together for about pushing 15 years now, and
cool.
you have just enough success that you stay hungry for it, but not enough that you really ever get that rock star attitude. And actually, funny story. Another band that you founded, Against All Will.
Yeah.
So my band formed right around the same time that the singer from a band in Hunt County, Dallas area called 7 Story Drop joined your band. Yep. And we were trying to ride their coattails, right? We're like, man, this is the band that we want to play with because everybody loves them. And I think they had a manager at the time named Dickie, and we were...
Yeah, Dickie. Yeah, he's awesome, too. I love Dickie.
We were trying to talk Dickie into being our manager. We're just up-and-coming newbies, man. I don't even know if we were really any good at the time, but, we hoped that we were. And anyways, then all of a sudden, 7 Story Drop's, like, done. And we're like, man, Dickie's gone, and Singer's gone, and it's like, wow. And... then we went and saw y'all guys. Y'all came through at Trees and played, and we went and saw y'all play and was just like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I love Trees. Yeah, that's a classic place.
It
you
is.
You were at that show?
I was at the show, yep.
Did I meet you?
You did not meet me. We were, back then I was hanging out with our current manager, and we didn't really feel like, we were, I guess, good enough to get to meet the rock stars, you know what I'm saying? But it was one of those instances.
I think we did an interview out there with a radio station. We did it out in the parking lot. I was just hanging out in the parking lot with so it's
right.
Like, yeah. But it was a pretty that was a pretty intense show. I thought everything went off pretty good, And Dickie and Jeff, they both helped a lot with the Against All Will thing. It's just like Jeff kind of got a hold of me in a weird way through, I think it was either Facebook or MySpace, and Dickie came along, and we all worked together really hard on that Against All Will project. Against All Will's kind of my baby, even before Jeff joined. But Jeff kind of quit on it, and it was kind of in a weird way where it's like one of those things with bands where, like, you're blessed to have, like, the opportunity to go as far as you can with something. And, I'm still working on a lot of stuff before Against All Will because it's always been my baby. And it's this kind of, the way Jeff kind of came about it with the rock star kind of attitude, I'm just not into. It was like, we could have talked about things and worked things out, but he just abruptly quit through management and I kind of, I kind of thought it was kind of just the wrong thing to do. I'm not like that, man.
No, I've noticed that about you, Jimmy. We're friends on Facebook, and one of the cool things that I think, me and you kind of think on the same wavelength, and I see the same things on your Facebook because you're on my timeline a lot. I see we like really beautiful handcrafted guitars.
Yeah.
Rock music. I like the fact that you are an advocate for being kind to animals. I see that on your Facebook quite a bit. And also the fact that I see that you post stuff about ending cannabis prohibition. That's something that I'm for totally 100% too. So you can definitely tell you don't have the rock star attitude, in other words.
And I appreciate that, man. Thanks a lot. I'm a pretty simple kind of dude. I those things you just mentioned, like I love all of them. And it's one of those things where on Facebook, it's one of those things where you can kind of get out there with your social media and just kind of spread the word, and then you kind of know who's your people. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's like, like that's your people, the people you kind of want to, and I see so much drama from people some of the times that it's just like, I'll hang out with my animals, play guitar. That's kind of
oh, absolutely. My wife and I, we rescue dogs, and we currently have 6. So,
cool.
We've got a house full, and it's the same way with us. Outside of playing music, my hobbies include petting my dogs. And
yeah.
I wake up sometimes and have 4 grown dogs sleeping on the bed with us. My wife will just let them pile up there, and hey, keeps us warm in the winter, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's like a 3-dog night. Got more.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about Cooker. What I know. So you've have another former member of Puddle of Mudd in that project, right?
Yeah, one of my good friends, Troy McCoy. Yeah, we kind of he was in Puddle of Mudd in the last days there for a while. And I think Wes sent him out and had him try out for the first, like, incarnation of the Puddle of Mudd successful kind of, the way everything went with the whole first album, which was kind of in the can for a while anyway. And it was one of those things where the Puddle of Mudd thing was the same kind of thing where you just kind of, things would get so weird, and it's like, you've grown up where you just play with your friends and you play with these people, and those people can kind of, sometimes you think are your friends, and they can turn their backs on you. It's kind of heartbreaking that it's like with music, it should be a way where it's a bond, but sometimes when the more successful something gets, it just becomes a whole curse, man. It's really one of those things where it's mind blowing to me, because it's just like, you're just like, I am, Paris. The whole thing is like playing guitar with your friends and bonding over that kind of thing, and bonding over an instrument. You think things are going to kind of always turn out like, oh, this is the way it's going to go. But it's like, I'm really blessed to be in the position that I am. But I've been doing this for over, 30 years of my life, dude. So it's like, people don't even understand the struggles. I mean, everybody wants to have success in some sort of way, but that success comes with a price, and you have to pay that price. And if you're able to pay that price and carry forward and keep making music with your friends and doing that, you're blessed, So
absolutely.
That's the way I look at it. And everything that people want success is like, it's there. It's always going to be there. There's no rush to over your friends or steal things or, try to be a bad dude, because that music's going to be there if you're doing it with your friends and loving it.
All right. That was wise words from the great Jimmy Allen, guitarist extraordinaire of the bands, formerly Puddle of Mudd, but currently of Against All Will and Cooker. So Jimmy Allen he kind of stole a singer. I say he stole. He hooked up with a singer that we was all kind of in the early years of my band, Last Day Living, was trying to ride the shirt tails of a specific band. They were called Seven Story Drop in the Dallas region, and they were kind of one of the premier bands in that region. And, you know, we thought, man, if we can just do what these guys are doing, then we might be able to find a little bit of success. And it wasn't shortly after that their singer left and joined Jimmy in Against All Will. So let's see what he's got to say. Here we go. Absolutely. And I'm fortunate, too, that, like with my band, I play in it with my little brother. He's 8 years younger than me. He was 16 when we started the band together and got to grace stages at a real young age. And so me, my brother, and my bass player have been together as a whole. I mean, we've managed to keep 3 original members for almost 15 years. And you really don't see that happening a lot. And I think because of what you said, you know, we've gone through the rock star attitudes, and those guys never lasted. But you got core members sometimes when you have a band, and when you lose one of those core members, the band is just, you know, like take Puddle of Mudd, man. When you left Puddle of Mudd, I don't think the band really ever recouped from that.
Thanks for saying that. Yeah, a lot of people, I get that some of the time, but, you know, it's a successful act. It's one of the most successful acts out of Kansas City where we were based out of. And, you know, Wes is keeping it going, and the whole thing is he's kind of been down a dark road, and I understand that, and I get it. More power to him. You know, I'm just happy to be blessed to be able to write some of those songs that are timeless like that, you know, that you can hear on the radio at a given moment. That's kind of, I don't really look at it. I don't really look at it as Puddle of Mudd is no better without me, but I think there's some beautiful magic that was made that some people don't really, really,
yeah, it goes beyond talent. Chemistry sometimes really, it just goes beyond talent, because chemistry sometimes it don't happen. You could go out and find the best guitar player in the world to come in and take your spot, but yet if that spark isn't there, you know, talent is only going to go so far, you know, especially in rock when we do everything by feel, man. It is a feeling, and that's what drives us. You know, we write our own music, which is pretty rare for the music industry these days. And, you know, we're putting our heart and soul into this music, and sometimes having a mutual bond is all it takes to really, for that spark to just explode. You know, so like I said, you know, when you left Puddle of Mudd, they just had a song recently. It was #1 for about 3 weeks here, and I've been playing it on my show called Uh-Oh. But to be honest, it sounds like they were trying to get back to the old Puddle of Mudd, but still, without your guitar in there, it just, to me, you know, I just didn't feel the same. So,
yeah, cool, man. I think somebody came up to me like last week and said, "Hey, man, I was playing that new Uh-Oh song, you know, and I realized it's She Hates Me chords, but in reverse."
Right.
He's like, I was just like, wow, I never sit down and played with it or whatever. It's not one of my favorite tracks off the new album, but, you know, of course, I'm a little biased because I have a track on the new album.
Oh, do you?
You know? Yeah, it's a You Don't Know. It's the first song, and it's an old song that we had from back in the day, but Wes put it on this new Welcome to Galvania album, and sounds pretty good. And so, like, people are coming up to me and going, "Hey, did you write any of that stuff on that new Uh-Oh song?" And I go, "Nah, man, no. I've heard the song a couple times on the radio," and they're like, "Yeah, it's the chords that are reversed from She Hates Me or something." And I'm like, "Oh, man, I've never sat down and listened to that."
Well, I hope Wes is really getting his stuff together. Like you said, he did kind of go down a dark road, and I do know that I see on your Facebook as well that you still give some nice shout-outs to Wes, so...
Yeah, he's been down a dark road, man, but it's like, you know, he brought it on himself, man. You know, that's the thing is, like, all the stuff that happened didn't really need to happen.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the success he asked for, you know, and, you know, God bless him and everything, but... This
industry is really, it will chew you up and spit you out is what I've noticed, and I've seen, you know, I played with Fuel not too long ago, and the drummer sat out there, actually at Trees. I remember seeing Fuel... you know, with Kid Rock at Reunion Arena in Dallas with, you know, 20,000 people out there or something, and then playing Trees, which isn't a bad gig, but you go from playing arenas to playing clubs, and the drummer sitting out there, you know, asking everybody that comes by if they have a Laura tab, you know. I mean, it's hard to see musicians hit rock bottom like that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's the whole thing with Wes. You know, I didn't like watching it. People would like send it to me and stuff like that, and I didn't like watching it. You know, and it seemed like they were even still doing shows when you could tell obviously the guy needed a break and he just needed to chill out for a minute. And it's like they kept doing shows, and it's like you're seeing this train wreck happen, and it's just heartbreaking because you know any musician's going to see that. And yeah, like you're saying, I mean. It's tough to watch that stuff, and it just doesn't make it's never the same afterwards, right? After you see these bands hit rock bottom, I mean, it's just never the same. It's kind of sad.
Right. Well, I hope the best for Wes, and I hope that he's clear-headed now, and I hope that maybe getting back on the charts helps him to remember what he had before he let it all go downhill. All right, Jimmy Allen and his take on his former bandmate Wes Gallant. It's no big surprise. Wes had a lot of run-ins with law and drug abuse and things like that. Hopefully, he is back on the mend. His song, Uh-Oh, it's been about 3 weeks at #1 here on the top 10 just recently. So all the love in the world to Wes, and I hope he does get his things back together. Jimmy Allen is a founding member of Puddle of Mudd. He is award-winning guitarist, responsible for songs like Blurry and Drift and Die and She Hates Me. All the good ones, man. Really, Puddle of Mudd really just not the same without Jimmy, but that's just maybe my opinion. But anyways, let's get this next segment kicked off. See what Jimmy's got to say. How about that? I'm going to tell you something that when listen to this new Cooker album, though. This is something that's been bothering me for a little while with the music industry is overproduction. And I don't hear that with Cooker.
Yeah, no, and that's on purpose. You know, we did everything with analog tape, and there was parts that I wanted to kind of mull over, and everybody wants to kind of mull over these parts and just to overproduce the hell out of shit nowadays. So I was like, okay, I'm leaving the room. You just make a decision. You know, it's that kind of thing where you're kind of like, you're not really overdoing it, which. Don't you think? I mean, there's a lot of stuff
yeah,
out
absolutely.
there.
That's what I heard whenever I heard I've heard the single called Choke Up, which I'm playing it on my show this week.
Cool.
So when I first heard it, I was like, man, this is raw rock and roll at its best. This is a couple of dudes, got a tube amp, got a humbucker, got a 5-piece set of drums, nothing over, no bells and whistles, and it's just straight in your face rock.
Yeah, and all that stuff, all those vocals I did, I think I cut them in 2 days. So it was like, that was another thing where it's like I was kind of worried. I wanted to have a couple more days, and it was kind of like, well, we got it. And I'm like, okay, let me hear it. And I was kind of blown away at how easy it was, and it just really, I just want to get stuff out there. I'm tired of overproducing stuff. I'm tired of like all these other, backing tracks and all this stuff. I just want to hear like, the rawness of things. I like raw, I like raw stuff,
That's really kind of what rock and roll was about for a lot of years, and now it's become overproduced, more digital music in there than you actually got people playing their instruments. And, it's as a fan that don't know better, they go out there and they buy tickets and they don't realize that, it's just an act. It's somebody performing, and it's really not, they didn't write everything. They didn't do all this. But you catch a really good rock band like Cooker on stage, and you feel every single note because you see it's coming from an actual person,
Yeah.
There ain't more than you can pay attention to.
Yeah, another thing is, Ferris, it's like, so that's all cut to, tape, and people like nowadays aren't really listening to, because we use no computers on Cooker. No computers. There was no computer technology anywhere. So even plug-ins to, everything was done with like old school stuff. So it kind of has that raw, it's a crunchiness. Like I tried to digitize it sometime a little bit in my studio, and then it wasn't the same. So it's the analog tape, I think, has a lot to do with it. If you're like a connoisseur of music, like it sounds like you are, and it sounds like, people try to cut it with tape nowadays, and that's when a lot of those albums I like the Foo Fighters, their stuff sounds great, and I think they all cut to tape. They're not using a lot of plug-ins and stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Foo Fighters is one of my all-time favorites, and a success story, that really kind of gives us all kind of a lot of hope. Dave Grohl, he comes to Dallas all the time for the Dime Bash, and he'll grill out, and he's just all over the place. A really good good dude overall.
Yeah. I've ran across him a few times, and he seemed like he was, and that's the thing. Even with Dime, I never got to meet these people, but I've been in the hallways where they've been talking to people, and I get to witness it. And like Dimebag was such a cool dude to everyone that was approaching him, man. There's so many people approached Dave Grohl and approached Dime and approached all these people. Billy Gibbons is another one that, like, I've hung out with Billy Gibbons a few times, and dude, he's the coolest dude you've ever met. I mean, dude, that's why these guys are, such superstars, and God bless Dime and stuff, but it's like, I've been around these people, and they treat people with the utmost respect and kindness and coolness. You're just like, that's what I want to model myself after. I don't want to be some, jerk to people.
Absolutely. And I think, it benefits a person to be that way as opposed to the opposite end, because, whenever it's all said and done and the vultures quit picking at you and you're there left by yourself and you start to realize, I've pushed important people out of my life by acting the way that I've acted. So best to stay humble. All right, folks, Jimmy Allen, such a cool dude, man, really humble and really down to earth. I like him. We're going to be good buddies. I have a feeling. Right after the segment, we're going to go ahead and spin the brand new one, Choke Up, from Cooker. And immediately after that, we're going to do one from Puddle of Mudd, because what the hell? Here we go. So tell me a little bit about, just because I'm a gear nerd, what's your current rig setup?
Right now I'm using a lot of the recording stuff. I'm using Kemper. I got a couple of those Kemper profilers. I've been using those, but what I've done is I went in there and I profiled a lot of my amplifiers, like my vintage Marshalls and some of my vintage Mesa stuff, and I've got a couple Bogners that I'm using right now. I've got a new system that I'm working through with 3 different heads, and it's a nice little sound. You'd love it.
I noticed that the guitars you're playing, they kind of look like a Melody Maker, but it wasn't Gibson brand. Who's making your guitars right now?
Nick Huber from Germany. Most of my guitars that I've got from him are phenomenal. I mean, they sound a lot like a Les Paul, a lot lighter than a Les Paul Gibson, but I still have tons of Gibsons that I love using too. But the Nick Hubers play so. They're a really fine instrument, and they sound really good, just on all spectrums, clean and dirty.
Awesome. Definitely going to have to check those out.
You'd love them. Yeah, they're pretty one of a kind, man. They're really one of those things where I've got 3 or 4 of them, and they're just magical.
Yeah, I've been doing boutique and handmade guitars. I think about the last 6 or 7 of mine were
killer.
Yeah, so it's something different about playing something somebody built for you as opposed to something every other guitar player's got one on, hanging.
Yeah, it is. It's really one of those, just like what you said. It's kind of made with some love, and it's for you, and it's your own little guy. It's like that really makes things cool.
Absolutely. So the new Cooker album is called "Setting the Head on Fire." Is that correct?
Fire, yeah, Setting the Head on Fire.
And where can our listeners pick the album up?
You can kind of get us everywhere. I mean, I like the iTunes, the Spotify, the Pandoras, Facebook. There's all kinds of stuff. YouTube's got some stuff I noticed or whatever. And then we've been working on a compilation video and a couple of new songs for the Cooker stuff coming up here in 2020.
Are we going to be looking for any tour dates?
Right now, we're not even planning on anything until something kind of pops up that we're going to have fun on. Something that we've had a couple offers, but they didn't really sound. I mean, it sounded kind of like more. We just want to have fun,
Right. On that note, I am the booking agent for a venue down here in Texas. So if y'all make y'all's way down here, hit me up. I would love to host that show.
Oh, cool, man. That'd be awesome.
Very cool. So anything else you want to tell us about Cooker or Jimmy Allen? What do you do outside of music? Do you have any hobbies that's not music related?
Yeah, I like hanging out with my animals and shooting guns and doing art. I like doing weird art sometimes, and basically that's it. It's kind of like the music thing. I've always kind of got a guitar around or in my hand or trying out something. Or, looking on Reverb, trying to scout some new fiddles.
Right. Yeah, that is an expensive habit. If you ask my wife, I usually get a guitar for my birthday, but I pay for it for myself. So because I don't want her to know how much I'm spending on it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that can be dangerous, man. And when you have that habit like we got of expensive boutique and old vintage guitars.
Yeah, there's so much cool stuff, just not enough money sometimes. You just got to be like, yeah, I got to do it. And I find it inspiring. It's like getting a new toy, kind of getting a new, amp or, recording thing or anything. It's kind of inspiring. So it makes me actually want to make new music.
That's me too, man. I use that for an excuse all the time. If I get in a rut, I go and buy a new guitar, and all of a sudden I can write a song again.
Yeah, we use that excuse all the time, don't we? Yeah,
absolutely.
But it's like, man, got to do it, man. Got to be inspired. Got to get this $400 pedal. It's gonna make me inspired for a week.
Right. So, have you heard about this candle Gwyneth Paltrow put out that smells like her vagina?
Oh, no way.
Yeah, this way, $75.
No
So,
way.
if they made a candle that smelled like Jimmy Allen, what would the scent be?
Oh, God, it'd probably be stale beer and weed.
Dude, that sounds like exactly how mine would smell for sure.
You're with me, buddy.
All right, brother. We're gonna have to wrap this up, but I'll tell you what, man. I would love to do this again. Let's make this a thing where you call in and we BS every once in a while. What do you say?
Cool, that'd be awesome, dude. And hit me up on Facebook and stuff. I'll send you some pictures of some a new gear I haven't posted and stuff like that. We can go back and forth and be like, wow, that's killer. How does it sound?
Very cool, brother.
All right, man.
I do appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you later.
Appreciate it, brother. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Is there a way to forget the world? Living on a broken promise. Never know the truth of what has actually happened. Was it real or just a fake? You call it all and you call it hate. Never knew someone like you, but we'll never be apart. Dying daily without the blood we need to survive. Call it blood, it's just for sins since we shared together. I've been love and death, empty feelings are all that's left. Burning hatred in my mind, I left you far behind. Select, infect, neglect, reject. Only love I feel is a baseball bat. Only love I feel is the baseball bat. Only love I feel is the baseball bat. Only love I feel is the baseball bat. To the fire, to the sun. I never should have trusted you. The way that you spun. I saw it coming. I saw right through. I saw it coming. Now I'm through. Silent, infect, neglect, reject. Only love I feel is a baseball bat. 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 Only love I feel is the baseball bat. Again and again and again. 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 Only love I feel is the baseball bat. Only love I feel is this baseball bat. Only love I feel is this baseball bat. Only love I feel is this baseball bat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, that was Cooker with Choke Up, the brand new one from their album Setting the Heads on Fire. Jimmy Allen, man, really cool guy.